How is everybody doing? We're going to talk about the podcast that we just had with BSG. All right. These are the main points that I managed to gather from that stream from BSG. So let's blast straight through them. All right. So essentially, compass. First thing, a lot of you have had this on your mind for a while. The compass is non-lootable, so no one can take your compass off of your body. And the azimuth is in the bottom right. So basically your bearing, essentially, when you have the compass up physically, in the bottom right hand corner where you usually see your ammo count when you check your mag, down there will be a number, and that updates in real time based on where you're facing. Okay, they decided to put that in just because it made it a little bit simpler, a little bit easier to use the compass. Maybe at some point that'll be removed, but for now, you'll be able to see your exact azimuth, your exact bearing. So when you're playing with other people and you're trying to give a bearing out to maybe a location or enemy location or something like that, they will need to get their compass out as well. They can get themselves onto your bearing and say, hey, yeah, brilliant, I know exactly where you're looking. And then they can go from there. But yeah, it was really, really good. Really, really good podcast. It was really fun to watch. So there's more types of compass coming as well, GPS, stuff like that. So more advanced kind of location systems, which will be really cool to see as time goes on. Second point that we've got here is the color change on body health point display in the top left hand corner corresponds to the color of health bars. So when you're in your health screen, you will remember seeing the color of the health bar changes as you get less health in that bar. Okay, now our body parts will show that. So once it's green, everything's good, it'd be nice and green, and then as it starts getting damaged and stuff, it goes like amber, it'll be like yellow, amber, and finally red, and then when it's blacked out, obviously it will correspond to that status. Now the M45A1 is the 45 caliber pistol. Okay, essentially updated version of the 1911, takes 1911 mags from what I can tell. Really, really cool. It's got the tritium glow in the dark sights on it, which look really, really nice as well. I mean, it's a 45 pistol. It looked really, really cool during the podcast. Bear 3 voice lines. So we listened to these during the podcast, guys. Bear 3, I imagine, will be selectable with 12.8 or at the very latest, the next wipe. He sounds quite rough, like a rough and tough guy, rather than like a big epic bear voice line that we have at the moment.
Good, nice, yes.
The new Bullpup Keltec RFB 7.62 NATO rifle takes SA58 mags. Unsure whether it's going to take the 50 round drums, but it definitely will take at least the 20 rounders that we looked at. Most likely the 30 rounders as well, because it's pretty much the exact same. All right, now what else have we got here? We've got a Vepr Hunter, new stock and suppressor. Okay, it looks absolutely amazing. The suppressor is massive. It does look quite cool. It's going to be absolutely terrifying to fight against. New helmets. Now, these are really cool. The Wrist T was described as being better than the Altin. Made of titanium. It looks like it's got more durability than the Altin. It looks really, really cool. It's in like a dark grey, kind of matte black. Even more exciting is the Galvion Cayman Ballistic helmet. Now, this comes with a mandible, or you can attach a mandible visor, slap style plate. It doesn't look to be the same fitting, but it's the same sort of concept, like over armor sort of thing. So you can use the mandible and the visor at the same time. So you do get that probably class 2 eye protection with most likely class 3 mandible, class 2, class 3 mandible or something like that. It looks really, really cool, super futuristic. New body armor class 5, which was armor steel. I think it would have a 50 durability, but not 100% sure, because that body armor that it had was repaired. It had been repaired. I think it might have been 50 durability originally, but that looks quite cool. New clothing items such as the beret. Okay, I think the beret comes in blue, black, and green, maybe. But definitely blue, definitely black. It looks really, really cool. Those of you that want to role play and wear berets and just go around kicking ass in a beret, you can do that now. It's absolutely amazing. New clothing as well. Okay, there seems to be a new set of clothing for both Bear and USEC. I don't remember seeing the USEC clothing in the podcast, but the Bear clothing does look really, really cool. Okay, it's kind of like a tan color. and I think that would look quite cool. Woods expansion, new Sturman spawn or spawns. Okay, at least one new spawn. That's planned between 12.8 and 12.9 at the moment. So we'll see. Okay, so it's not going to be on 12.8, but it will be in between the patches from what I can tell. Woods expansion is going to be quite huge. Apparently they're really quite excited about that. And yeah, I mean, I never guessed it was going to be Woods. I thought it was going to be Factory, which was going to be expanded, but Woods is the next map to get a major rework by the looks of things, and that's going to be between 12.8 and 12.9, which is really, really cool. Transfer. So the backpacks that we got, the Transfer Tourist backpack, okay, I think it was called the LK3F, and that's a 4x3 internal blue backpack. It's like a mini pilgrim, essentially. It's like a mini pilgrim with like a walking stick, kind of, you know, the thing that walkers have when they're like blasting around the mountains and stuff. It's got one of them in there. It looks quite cool, actually. And that's going to be 4x3, so same kind of size as like a duffel bag, but that way, like vertical rather than horizontal. Okay, there was an F5 backpack, which was 6x5 internal. Essentially, looks like a new style of like tri-zip kind of backpack, very, very similar to that. There was an F4 backpack as well, which had 3 compartments. One was 4x5, so imagine a like a burqa, so a 4x5 on the top. Then it had a 2x5 and another 2x5, so kind of like a burqa and then 2 external dimensions of a weapon case, like it was like that. So 4x5, 2x5, 2x5. Really, really cool. Okay, it's kind of like a bigger version of the Paratas, and it looks absolutely massive. Okay, I'm probably not going to use this kind of backpack because it looks absolutely huge and you will stick out like a sore thumb. I'm a massive fan of the smaller kind of backpacks. I think the F5 is going to be my backpack of choice. During the podcast, they did say that the stats of the backpack were not showing, and apparently that was a bug. So these different backpacks are going to have different stats. They're going to affect our movement and stuff like that, and we'll learn more about that as time goes on. This is something that was quite cool as well. So there's a sort button on pretty much every container now. So every grid in the game can be sorted, all the way from your stash to like your rigs, backpacks, stuff like that. Okay, so there is a sort button. We did see it demonstrated during the podcast, and it looks kind of fun, actually. It looks kind of cool. Ammo seems to sort really well. So when you press, say for example, you've got an ammo case and you sort your ammo, it does sort amazingly well. It basically does it perfectly. But when you have a assortment of items, for example, like a Lucky Scab junk box or something like that, it does look like it struggles a little bit to kind of place things together. But for all intents and purposes, it puts similar items together. So it'll put, like, I imagine your nuts, your nuts and bolts kind of thing will go together. So like nuts, bolts, stuff like that. That's really throwing me off now, but you know what I mean. Your nuts will be sorted, don't worry. Your nuts will be safe and sound. But yeah, essentially like scrap items, junk items, stuff like that should be sorted really, really well, and I imagine that will look great, and that'll be a really nice quality of life upgrade there. Chat's talking about their nuts now. Yeah. All right, it was an accident, guys. We'll re-roll that. 2 new types of med, I guess. Okay, we've got the Esmarch bandage. It's listed as a bandage, but it is in fact a tourniquet. It's essentially just a belt. Okay, it looks like a red kind of belt. He puts it on, he pulls it tight, and that will be used for stopping heavy bleeds. Same with the hemostatic, basically quick clock. I don't know if that's K-Lock B or if that's in Cyrillic, but we'll call it K-Lock B for now. Essentially, it's quick clot. Just inject this stuff into you, and it basically clots your blood. And these 2 items will be needed for heavy blood loss. And it does seem like the IFAK stops it temporarily. Not 100% sure if it stops it completely, but again, we'll be testing all this once we jump in and get to play it. But this was really, really interesting though. Blood trails. Very cool. We've been talking about blood trails for a long time. my most like favorite part about blood trails, you engage a target, that guy then disappears. If he's heavy bleeding, you'll be able to follow his blood trails to where he went. So you'll be able to see exactly what room he went to, or it doesn't seem to be like a constant like dripping. It kind of like places a block of blood down every so often. So I don't know how it will react to people sprinting. So let's say if it's one block of blood every 3 seconds, the faster that person is traveling, the more spaced out their blood signs will be. So yeah, we'll see how that's going to work. Killer's face on a mug. Need I say more? Amazing. Streets of Tarkov will not be released this year. It is the biggest and most complex location, so it's going to need the most work. COVID has unfortunately affected progress of the development of the map, and I've got the words full-scale map in quotation marks. I think what Nikita meant by that is with the full-scale map, it's going to be literally the city. So it's going to be Tarkov City, Streets of Tarkov. It's going to be massive. Okay, it's going to just be the most demanding location of them all. The hotbar, guys, now shows IFAK and indeed other medical items durability. So for example, you've got Salua, painkillers, whatever you've got in your hotbar for your meds, it'll now show you exactly how much you've got in there. So you can see, I'm getting low on my Salua, going to switch out for an IFAK or whatever. You'll now be able to see that from the hotbar. New headsets. Saw the Walker XL. I can't comment on how it sounded because the game was really low during the podcast. But from what I could tell, it seemed pretty natural or neutral. I think it's probably going to sound similar to the Walker Razor, similar to the TAC Sports guys. From what I can tell, it doesn't sound like a GSSH. It doesn't sound like Comtax really, from what I can tell, and it certainly doesn't sound like Beats by Nikita. Swordins. Okay, so I think the Walker XL is going to be quite a natural sounding headset from what I can tell. They did mention a new mystery weapon, or they said that there was going to be a weapon that they haven't shown yet. Now this is either going to be the UMP, I believe, or the Vector, guys. Both the UMP and the Vector have been teased by their high-res screenshots. So I don't believe we saw it during the podcast, even in the stash, guys. So it doesn't look like it's ready for implementation just yet, or they're just holding it off because they want to show it off more later on down the line. So there's a new AK handguard as well, similar to the XRSU47SU. Seems to be like a full-size version of the 74U handguard, where the rail along the top comes over the top. So that handguard will basically allow you to have sights and stuff. Wow, exactly. Thanks for the bits, buddy. It'll allow you to have sights. Okay, I think full-size sights as well. SR25 handguard / AR15 handguard. So it was a carbon fiber 12.5-inch M-lock handguard. Really, really cool. Okay, and I guess that will be fitted to a number of the AR platform weapons and stuff like that. Really looking forward to. Now, this is quite cool as well. High-quality color, guys. So this is going to be on by default. And Nikita is reporting that they're seeing potentially a slight performance boost. Early test servers. The new engine version is going to be on there first, from what I can tell. The early test servers will be fully customizable by BSG, so they'll be able to turn things on and off at will, and change things like that. Available for specific audience, not necessarily streamers, but open to those who are super testers. Proper feature testing before it goes into the servers that we're like the public servers. And there's going to be an application process for that as well, guys. There will be an application process for people to get on the early test servers. People that are actually testing the game will have priority and will be accepted onto those. BSG are reporting lots of network and anti-cheat fixes daily, so that accounts for a lot of the updates and the small little hot fixes and stuff that we've been having, which is great to see. Okay, it's great to see that they're continually updating stuff and keeping cheaters on their toes and trying to fight against them as hard as they can. Now, this is something that you guys are really excited for, and we actually spoke about this as well during the podcast. Backpack quick drop with animation is the coolest thing I've seen in a long time. We can now throw our backpack down. So we get into a contact, backpack goes down, bam, with the animation, throws it down. ready to fight. You don't even have to look at your you don't have to like go into your inventory or nothing. I believe it's going to be hotkeyed. You can literally map it to your mouse. You get into a fight, throw your bag down, or maybe you could like throw your bag down the stairs, distract people. It's going to be really, really cool. Okay, I think it's going to be a game changer. I think we're going to see a lot more of it now that it's going to have its own actual function, and I'm really excited to check it out. Yeah, that's going to be really cool. 12.9, guys, will hopefully have weapon malfunctions implemented properly. So we're going to be seeing all of those weapon malfunctions that are included in the animations and stuff of the different weapons. They will properly be implemented. Whereas at the moment, we currently have a placeholder system where the weapon gets below like 20% durability, it will start malfunctioning. You should have the ability to slam it on the ground if you're a bear. Rig customization is still in the works. So fully customizable rigs, you'll start off with a plain, plate carrier. You can choose your plates. You can choose, obviously you'll be able to choose your armor class, durability, the material. So for example, you'll be able to, these plates are titanium. They are class 3. They have this, and you can go, yeah, I want to use that. Or it'll be, these plates are class 4, class 5. They're armor steel. They weigh this much. This is how they repair. If you want to go for ceramic plates, they're probably going to be quite cheap, but they'll do the job. That sort of thing. It's going to be really, really cool. And obviously you'll be able to like choose what pouches you want on there as well. Dump pouches, mag pouches, maybe 3x1s, 2x2s. You can, single slot pouches, stuff like that. It's going to be really, really cool. And as far as I'm aware, each pouch is going to represent itself on the, when you actually look at your rig. You'll have like four mag pouches. You'll have 4 mag pouches, for example, or you could get like those double pouches, and you have maybe like 8 magazine pouches or whatever. It's going to be really, really sick. I'm so excited. I hope the hitbox system will see a revision, because the hitboxes at the moment obviously are incredibly unrealistic. Armor protects pieces of your body that it shouldn't do, so hopefully we'll see more news about the plate system, the rig customization system, along with a new hitbox implementation as well. Very, very exciting. Stim pouch has been mentioned. I'm guessing it's going to be a 1x1 or a 2x1, something like that. And essentially does exactly what it says on the tin. It'll have your stims in there. Preliminary patch notes next week, no wipe. Okay? Very excited. And we're going to be going through the preliminary patch notes. I can't even say that. Preliminary patch notes next week when they do release, guys. We're going to be checking them out. Raid episode 5 is currently in production. It's not going to be as far away as the 4th episode was. So if you remember the 4th episode, we were waiting what felt like an eternity for that. I think Raid episode 5 will drop either Christmas or New Year's. I believe it will be around that sort of time. I hope so. I really hope it is. Nikita was asked how close in percentage is Tarkov finished? And Nikita responded 60 to 65%. We're going to, if we're 60 to 65% through the game, we're looking at another 2-3 years of development. Easily, pretty reasonable that it's going to be another few years, guys, until we see like a full
Mission complete, and how? They're going to tell stories about this one, boss.
Ophawk just came in with the 4 gifted subs. Thank you very much indeed, sir. And I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much. Guys, let's get some love in the chat for Ophawk, please. Next, what have we got here? Storyline quests are the most awaited feature for Nikita. He's so excited. Now, the one thing that got me hyped during the podcast, dialogue system. Choice of dialogue options. Proper RPG style dialogue choice. I don't know if it's going to be in-game or in the menus and stuff, but you are going to approach a character in some way and they will talk to you and you will have to give your answer, or you will have to speak for your character. You say the wrong thing to somebody and you might get your ass kicked. Maybe potentially a scav comes up and says, shak bariga mapatompa babam, and you're like, niet, fuck off. If you choose that dialogue option, and that opens up so much, because if you think about it like an RPG, you could do a good guy playthrough, you could do a bad guy playthrough. It opens so much potential to play as a specific style of person in Tarkov. You could be the asshole that just kills everybody, or you can like try and help people. And we already see a kind of basic version of this already. If you imagine I think it's like the chemical quest line. You can choose who you turn it into. Do you choose therapist, who's going to use that information to help people? Do you choose skier that's going to just sell it on the black market? Do you sell it? Do you choose prapor that's going to do something else with it to do with like the Russian government or like his own ends? Do you know what I'm saying? We already see this kind of decision making in the game, even though it's really basic at the moment. That is awesome. That gets me excited. I'm a massive RPG fan, and I think that's going to be amazing in Tarkov, and I'm really excited to see that. Old bugs, hit reg, peekers advantage, etc. BSG constantly working on old bugs, guys. Old bugs are old bugs. They're there still because they're a pain in the ass to deal with. If they were easy, they would have gone a long time ago. Just got to be patient. More natural environment sounds, yes. More sounds for floors and different surfaces that we can walk on, yes. Hideout, more areas in the hideout, more crafting options. There's going to be a redesign for the crafting system, and 12.8 will see 2 new skills for the hideout. 2 new skills for the hideout. I think this is going to be something like a DIY skill. Maybe you train yourself up by putting shelves up and flat pack furniture. I don't know. 2 new skills for the hideout. Interesting. Looking forward to hearing more. Private servers for competitions in the works. Awesome. Vaulting animations. The answer for this has been yes, even though last time they said that the whole game would need to be redesigned. Not 100% sure on this, guys. Not sure. Same with throwable distractions like rocks, stuff like that. Not sure. The closest we've got to throwable distraction at the moment is quick launch in your backpack. I think that's going to be really, really cool. But yeah, it would be cool to throw stuff into a room. Like imagine throwing a rock into a room and the guy inside thinks it's a grenade. You know, I think that'd be fun. Definitely. Loot items to be equipped as melee. So Nikita in the future wants us to be able to hold screwdrivers, wrenches, bricks, bottles, packs of nail stuff. I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of things that you'll be able to equip as a melee weapon. Does that mean we're going to be smashing people around the head with condensed milk? Possibly. Could be a fun time. Stripper clip for the SKS still planned, yes. And obviously stripper clips for other weapons I imagine will come in as well. FN Scar rough ETA maybe 12.9. I don't know why the Scar's taken so long. I have no idea. Might be a licensing issue. We shall see. The flea market will not be removed. This is from the devs. The flea market will not be removed, guys. I guess not even for testing purposes, but maybe they'll do it on the ETS, the testing service. Not 100% sure, but for the main bulk of us guys that are playing the public servers and stuff, the flea market will not be removed. Eventually there will be a PvE game mode with friends on BSG servers for training purposes. Now I imagine there will be no progression. So it won't save your XP, it won't save your ammo spent. What I take from this statement is that it will be offline with friends. I think that is the easiest way to imagine it. I think it will essentially be offline with friends. But it will run on a server. It won't run on the client. Those of you that know about cheats and anti-cheat and stuff like that will most likely be able to, know more about that sort of thing and why they've decided to do that. But there will, from what I can tell, be server-based offline with friends. Which sounds really weird to say, but, just allow your mind to bend around that, and it kind of makes sense. So we spoke about the early testing servers. Okay, we're going to reiterate it. They'll be fully customizable by BSG, available for specific audience, not necessarily streamers. It'll be open to those who are super testers, proper feature testing, and there will be an application process. Very, very important, guys. The early test servers will be open to people who apply and can show that they are actively and physically properly testing the game. Okay, not just those of us that just like to play and have fun. Fog. There was some complaints in the chat about fog. Nikita thinks that locations without fog look uninteresting. This is a big shame because fog, in my opinion, is more of just an annoyance rather than, I'm going to use this fog to escape snipers. And there's been maybe 0.1% of maybe one raid where I've thought fog has been an advantage, and that's on woods when you have to plant the stuff like the Wi-Fi camera on the pier, and when you have to plant the glasses and the balaclavas and stuff. The only time I've ever thought, I wish it was foggy, was the 2 minutes that I spent doing that. I think fog's going to get a rework at some point from what I can tell, but Nikita likes fog. And last, guys, the last thing of the podcast, new music will be shown soon. Nikita spoke about the music as tracks. So from what I can tell, there is multiple pieces of new music that will be shown very soon, which is exciting because I love music. Tarkov music is insane. Nikita is a great composer and music producer, so it'll be a lot of fun checking them out, guys. All right. But yeah, that, my friends, is the entirety of the notes. So guys, if you want to go through these in your own time, maybe you joined us halfway through, go to the Discord. There's one message.txt in Tarkov chat, and there's also one in announcements as well. So please, guys, go check them out in your own time. Go and enjoy those notes. Really, really good podcast. Loads to mention. I'm really excited. And I can't wait, man. I can't wait to get those preliminary patch notes next week. And remember, guys, no wipe. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on this podcast summary. Okay, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. The stream isn't quite over yet, but if you are watching over on YouTube, thank you very much indeed. And let us know what you're looking forward to the most down in the comments below. Okay, thank you very much indeed for watching this, and I'll catch you later on, guys. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.